Hey guys, let's look at another pro game. This is she's just professional one dan, just and playing eight dan. Uh, I don't know these players, but she hasn't. She's one of the YouTube teachers, does stuff on YouTube, um, and she thinks differently. Anyway, let's have a look. I thought it was interesting. Okay, she's white. I should know her name. I don't. Okay, all fine. And I just marked some of the spots here to play next. Now, if you want a simple game, just play at A. There's no problem there. But there's just a whole lot of board, and you really want to play to be the first one to play in an area. Now, we know that principle. Um, okay, this black move. Black is the first one to play in the area. Okay, that's the biggest sort of move. Now, black's the second one to play in an area. That's the next biggest. If white responds, white's playing a third move in the corner, which is smaller than the second move in the corner. See what I'm saying? We know this, but some people, I didn't used to know it. So let's say, for instance, here, now black plays the fourth move in the corner, which is way smaller than second move in the corner. Okay, so white could play A, and it's not a problem, but the other spots are bigger. Can you get more freedom, more flexibility, more ability to do things? Now, of all these moves, and I should have marked F and G also, because those are clearly on the chart of big moves. The one that I just wouldn't do is C, and that's the one she does. So it gets me thinking, why? What's her reasoning? And two things come to mind. One, she's read out that if I go do something and black does whatever, that black could end up getting a whole lot. Okay, so maybe she's thinking there's some readout that says that bottom area, black can get out of control. Now, I don't believe that. It's too early in the game to be worried about someone getting out of control. So maybe it's just, well, I find that's a little bit of a burden for me to deal with. I don't want to deal with it. Okay, that sounds better. More of a stylistic. I don't like how much black gets, even though it's not too much. She doesn't like it. Okay, that makes sense. And then we have something I used to see years ago before AI. The strong players would simply play something like C, which starts a fight. Even if C was a little slow, a little too early, they don't care. They're here to start a fight. I'm going to outfight you. So I think it's more like or maybe some combination there. She's choosing a fight in a big area, making sure black doesn't get out of hand. Okay. I just don't like complications, and she does. Okay. Certainly makes sense. Black's using the A stone, right? An extension. Hurting the B stone, using the C stones. This is all, okay, makes sense. And we know from experience that white doesn't have to respond, because if black surrounds, there's still life in the corner. It's not like it's all blacks, and it's already negated down here. So everything's fine. White plays away. I'm kind of glad when I see strong players play this way, because this scares me. If I'm white, I'm concerned about the entire right side. Looks like black has everything. How in the world am I going to get over there? Now, I've learned that it's all good and fine, and I'll do it, but I'm pretty worried about it. Okay, black keeps playing whole board and not committing to one idea on the right. That's good. And white says, okay, good time for me to come out. So it all makes sense. I like the timing. I like that black's not rushing and say, oh, my area 1 and my area 2, they're so good. No, that's overcommitment. Some of you guys know the old man I used to play. He used to be one of Taiwan's top 10 players, and he came to live in the U.S., and now he's like 90 years old. Well, he's 89, which happens to be the only English he could speak was his age. And he'd state it so proudly, 89. And when he came into the area, he, through his daughter, sent out a request, can anyone come and play? He's too old to be going to the clubs. So I didn't know who he was. No one knew how strong he was, but I kind of thought he was probably a 1 dan or something. Turns out he's like super strong, and we played once a week for like 3 years. It was really great. And in all 3 years, we never once played a Joseki. He didn't believe in him. And many times like this, I would do something like this thinking, okay, he can never catch up. I have too much. Every single time. It's like, didn't matter. He'd always get plenty. And I'm like, wow, I just really learned some stuff. I was about 1.5 stones stronger than him. The one, we couldn't communicate in, speaking. But he would occasionally send messages through his daughter, or I would tell her to ask him something. And one day she comes, it was an email probably, my father wants to know, how did you get so strong? He couldn't think that Americans would have, serious level. So that made me feel really good, of course. Okay. We usually see this move. Yeah. When she played this, I assumed that meant that she played it to pick up Sente and go do whatever. If black plays this way, then Atari and save and this sort of picture. But no, she played here next. And I wasn't entirely sure why. The shape is better. Maybe it's just the shape she liked. It also gets ready for a move like this nicely. Okay. So now we're clearly thinking we're going to defend the A group. And I would assume, A or B. And in a strange world, D. But she counterattacks. And I'm like, holy cow. So she reads a lot. Their time was 15 minutes and then 30 seconds 5 times. And she used up her whole 15 minutes quickly. And then she used up all her byoyomi quickly, because to her, reading was so important. And of course, at that level, when you read, you're reading deeply, right? So a 10Q might read X amount in a long time, and then a 3Q is going to read much more in a shorter time, and a professional can read massive amounts in a small amount of time. So when she reads, it's like, oh, it's just so much going on. So interesting. This to me seems so dangerous. Okay. Oh, that's a statement. You can't come after me because I'm going to get you. You're going to die first. Okay, I can grasp that. Okay. Now, black's alive, right? Time to deal with the B group. But our A group's going to die pretty quick. And so she looks and looks and says, okay, this is Sente, which is understandable. Sorry, here, black only has one eye. And it looks like black dies first. Okay. So Sente, which allows her A group, is now strong enough to have good Aji to the left. Hard for black to surround. Not impossible, but much more freedom with the A group now that it's thick like that. Finally, white can come out. So there's a timing here that I find really interesting. Yes, I can fight with my A group, but it's difficult. I've got my B group to worry about. I've got my C stone to worry about. If I fight here, I'm going to get hurt somewhere else. Therefore, I want to get better in other places so that then when I come back and fight at A, I'm not being hurt other places. Okay, now this timing is commonplace. So where to? White's playing in a big area, defending because allows us to get out. We can connect under now. Now we say connect under, but perhaps it's it's more like a over or under kind of thing. Everyone says connect under. Well, that's actually not how it happens. But it's the connection under, and we're attacking black, and we're playing in a big area. It's a great move. Black says, oh, I love this black move. Those white stones, no good. Not only that, but I've dramatically changed the A-B relationship. Used to be A was weak, now B's weak instead. This black move is really meaningful. White says, great, I'll go back and I'll continue doing my meaningful stuff. This attacks both the black groups, right? Both black groups are feeling this. Okay, out we come. Now our eyes on the B group. Yeah, we can connect under. Anything else we can do first? Well, we can do the attacking thing. Shall we continue with the attack? How much can we get before it's becoming unsafe? That's the question here. So white says, I can clearly get this powerful move in first. Then she says, that's about it. Let's stop there. I find that interesting. Try to get a sense of the timing. Black gets out. White gets out on this side where there's weak stones. Lots of fighting here. On a connect. Black gets out. And now, let's imagine this white move. We're getting out, nice and safe, and clearly applying pressure on the A group. Seems reasonable. And she didn't play this, but I believe a move later she goes, oh, maybe I should have just played this way. Right? She's reading and never Wow, there's a huge ant. That might be the biggest ant I've ever seen in person. Wow. Okay. Sorry to all the wonderful people out there who love animals, but he's gone. Okay, so we have this whole thing going on. And she's like, no, I can be more aggressive here. Now, check out the difference between A and B. A is reaching out, surrounding black on both sides if you can afford it. Well, our C group is virtually live, connected under. So she put all that and goes, okay, I think I can play A. Uh-huh. Yep. On A. Finish. Uh-huh. Yep. And then the peep. Peep seems natural here. Let's look at a couple natural moves. Come out. Makes sense. The Hane. Getting out to safety with some Sente. Playing away, finishing a corner. This is playing away from the action. You can't play away from the action. There's so much going on, you can't lose tempo there. So the peep seems good timing. If black submits, let's just put it here for a minute. Look at that black stick. That's a nasty stick. I mean, it's like no eyes, nowhere to go. So white peeps and black says, no, we're going to do this. Now, I didn't see his intent in time. I should have. It's an obvious thing we do. But I'm just like, okay, why don't you just save the peep instead? And then I go, oh, that's right, the ko. I forgot about the ko here. What a silly little move that looks like, right? I mean, we can capture it A, we can capture it B, we can cut it C. I mean, good grief. We can't cut it C at the moment. It's like, what is black thinking? And then Atari. Now, if white saves Atari, now this is assuming black's winning the ko, white's dying everywhere. It's a nasty little ko. Atari, capture, Atari. If white submits, then black's getting this in Sente, right? Anyway, so white captures. White doesn't want to lose this ko. Black makes the threat, and white's like, yeah, this is too much. Not only does it hurt dramatically if black wins it, it hurts black dramatically when I win it. So now the ko is nothing, right? There's no ko there anymore. On top of that, if we now cut, we see the entire left is pretty big. So that's a big move. Now, no one is thinking about this cut because the entire group is in danger. You can't save the cut but your group's still in trouble. No, you have to give up the tail. Okay, boom. Black makes good his threat. And now, this would be so hard for me. Should we be attacking the A group? Seems reasonable. Should we be attacking that B group, start surrounding them? Seems reasonable. Should we start this Aji? That seems reasonable. Well, this is not leaving the action. There's a lot of action on the bottom. This move, followed by this move. I mean, black's being surrounded. So there's a lot going on here. And that's often where I start faltering. It's like working out all the timing. It's just insanely difficult. Chihanes. So when I looking at a game like this and I see this position, I'm like, how do you sort it out? Answering that question is on a level of difficulty that I can't, it's too much for me. But when you see her move, it's like, oh, that's an excellent hint. What makes her think this is the place to start? And it's like you start imagining, what kind of trouble is here? Atari. Oh, that's very much Sente. Why didn't she do it earlier? Earlier, because there were other important things going on. So Sente. And over here, well, what about going faster? Well, this is kind of a nasty Atari. I mean, that's not pleasant. Okay, play strong. Well, A or B. B's faster. If black doesn't respond, we have an excellent surrounding move. But it's all about what happens with the cut. Well, Atari. There's a couple of ideas. What about, see, there's so much to read out. I mean, you have to read out so much. I have a kind of a student who's brand new to Go. He's doing amazingly well. And he's starting to realize that anytime you do something like this is what happens with the cut. And he's having to learn. Everything has to be read out all the time, which is such a hassle. So Atari, what happens with the Atari? I guess, okay, that just gets taken. Okay, then if we save, okay, that's okay. But if that's all true, then why wouldn't we play this versus her playing this? Isn't this faster and it works? And it's closer to surrounding at A. Two things, right? So here we are. This is why I enjoy looking at games. Why would you choose that? And two things come to mind. Well, one, it leaves a peak behind, which bothers two weaknesses. Okay. Next, if we do play A, the next move is very severe. In other words, Atari. So it's tighter, hurts liberties more. So that puts in my mind, okay, don't just always play the faster move. You can play the more locally severe move. I mean, look for, anyway, I don't even know how to phrase it, but I'm like, I try to grow my mind when I see why they do things. And then it's one thing I like about the YouTube videos. They play their move and you go, I should have played the other way because of that. It's like, so they're both valid and they're having a hard time choosing. So it's okay if I have a hard time choosing. Okay. So as black comes out at B, we see the A group getting hurt more. Okay, our A group's getting hurt. Her move, doing a lot of work on the bottom, getting a wall going to support that group. Now, I don't know if she's thinking, if he starts attacking my A group right now, it's going to be too difficult to save it. So if he attacks me, I'm going to go ahead and just kill this, and that's about equal. Is she thinking something like that? Or is she thinking, oh, no, this is enough. This actually does support the A group. These are really hard questions. Hi. It's my wife. Be quiet. She doesn't know you're here. Okay. White plays here. Going for the surround. Going to hurt that top group. Black says, yeah, too much trouble. I'll save. White does the surround. All very straightforward. What about the cut? Black's getting in trouble here. But Black can get back things, right?
Right.
So it's quite a joy to be married to someone you're madly in love with. Okay, so all this is going on, right? We're seeing the B stone can get cut. The C stones are getting weaker and weaker. All this stuff's going on, and White says, it's time to work in the corner. This is high level stuff, very difficult. And this corner sequence up there, I never would have come up with that. Okay, come on out, come on out. And finally, this A group, it's like, are you actually going to save it? Yeah, I can save it. That fighting is so deep. Black gets his group out. White starts to connect under. Is it a connection? No, it's a co. Okay. The entire A group isn't connected. Well, that's severe danger. Yeah, but Black's B group is presently being surrounded. Okay. Step one, connect under. Start to come up, attacking Black, saving our group. Now, from Black's perspective, Black says, I'm getting good things on the outside. Ooh, look at me getting the C area. That's huge. And I'm doing it in Sente because there's this massive co at A that it's a flower co, right? Black's not risking anything. White's risking. So the weakness at A means that Black gets area C. This is why we don't like weaknesses. He gets stuff. Okay. Now it's a co. So if we don't have co-threats, we need to fix right now. Well, what's the co-threat? Okay. Three groups are marked on top. It's one huge group. So White says, I'm just going to surround the whole thing. Go ahead and play co. I dare you. I have too many co-threats here. Okay. Attacking that top group. All this time, Black can't play co. Black's too busy. Now, as White does all this attacking, his corner's not alive. But at any point that Black says, no, you're dying here. Aha, I've killed you. Well, then I've killed you too. Okay, so finally, save the corner. And here, if Black finally starts the co, well, there's just too many threats here. The whole Black group is weak. When black saves the tail, well, that's not enough. You can't just save the tail. Oh, well, it's more than that. I'm getting shape moves like this. I'm getting living moves like this. So saving the tail adds to my options for health. White says, okay, that's about the end of my co-threats. I mean, I can't, yeah, time to save. So that whole series, we didn't play the co, but it was hanging over our heads the whole time. Right? There's a lot of timing in this game. It's an important move for black, but white doesn't need to respond. You could see white. She perked up. She goes, oh, I don't need to respond to that. Boom. I get some free moves in. Then I take. Black's not alive. Well, that's a little interesting that black's not alive. White goes for the killing move. Didn't go for, oh, white's just getting strength and points, letting black live. No. It's a clear declaration of you're not alive yet. Yeah, we can cut now. White saves the cut. Black says, are you going to let me live? White says, well, let me get some more stuff going on. I might have come up with this move. This is a really interesting move. Lots of Aji. Black says, I don't want you to run the show. I'm going to threaten your corner. White says, go ahead. Take my corner. Black says, well, I'll just kill you on the right. White's A group. There's some serious stuff going on here. Sorry, threaten, connect. Black dies. White saves the corner. Black starts the co. Co-threat. Just trying to understand all the co's and all the threats and when you play away, how bold white is to go for shape rather than, okay, co-threat. Okay, how's white's corner? Can white take away the eyes? White says, yeah, you're dead. White says, I'm alive in the corner. You could see her looking. You see her cursor going back and forth. If something like this, well, now we have another co, Atari. So white just backs off and says, based on the corner and this move, I'm alive. Now she can just, boom, read that out. What? 3/4 of a second. All read out. She's seen it so many times, the different shapes. First thing you do when you start trying to get serious and go, memorize shapes. And that's where black resigns. He only has one eye and there's nothing left. So just a lot of stuff to look at, a lot of stuff to try to understand and glean. I hope it meant something to you, meant something to me. Okay, guys, catch you later.